So in this question, we're given the marks for 20 students, what they got in a French test, and then we're given them below. So we can see they kind of range from somewhere in the 60s to somewhere in the 90s. Now we're then asked to use this data to show this information in a stem and leaf diagram. So for a stem and leaf diagram, we kind of have basically two main parts. We have one column which is going to represent the stem, which in this case is going to be the tens column, and then we have another column which is going to represent the leaves. So if I take this column here, it's going to be the tens column, so the stem, and then the leaves are going in this sort of area here. And how this works is we would take a number, so for example 76, the 7 is in the tens column, so there'll be a 7 in this column, and then in the corresponding row we will write the 6, which is the leaf. Now I can just write out a kind of key for this sort of idea. So if I were to do 7, 9, 6, for example, that is going to equal 76. And that's kind of a key for what we're doing here. Now I'm going to start off by doing an unordered stem and leaf diagram because it just makes it easier to begin with, as we need to look through all of the data and write them all into the table. So if I have a look at the tens, I can see they range from 60s to the 70s to the 80s and to the 90s here. So in the tens column, I'm going to write 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now I can go through all of the numbers individually and look at the units. So we have 76 here, so next to the 7 I can write the 6 in. Similarly for 82, next to the 8 I'll write the 2 in. And then I can just carry on through them, so we have 84 and I'll write the 4 in here next to it. Not worrying about the order yet, I'm going to continue and change the order at the end in the final answer. So I've done 84 and then I can just run through and do the rest, so 69, 80, 64, 70, 81, 75, 91, 87, 67, 80, 70, 94, 76, 81, 69, 71 and 77. And doing it this way and not ordering it to begin with just makes sure that I haven't missed any out and I've got all 20. I can count them all and check that I've got 20 leaves and just double check that I have got all of my points in here. So now I can go on to order them in the final answer for the stem and leaf diagram. So in the kind of answer box we have here, I'll write out the 6, 7, 8 and 9, and then I just need to order these numbers that I have here. So in increasing order, 4, 7, 9, 9, and then for the 7s, 0, 0, 1, 5, 6, 6, 7, for the 8s, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 7, and then for the 9s it's just 1, 4 again. Now as for how the marks are awarded here, you'd get the first mark for kind of stating this key over here, so as an independent mark, so for just showing that this is how the stem and leaf diagram works. And then the second mark's for a fully correct unordered or ordered stem and leaf diagram with one error or no errors. And then the final mark is going to be for this correct ordered stem and leaf diagram here. So now we're told that one of the students is going to be chosen at random. We're told that the pass mark in the French test is 71. We're then told that Omar writes that the probability that this student failed the French test is 1/4. We're told that Omar is wrong and asked to explain why. So to go about this question, I'm going to try and find the probability that the student failed and compare this to 1/4 and show that it isn't 1/4. So if the student gets a mark less than 71, it's going to be a fail. So any mark up to 70 is going to be a fail. And I can use my stem and leaf diagram to find these values really easily and see how many scores were less than 70. So if I have a look at my diagram, if I want to go up to 70, I'm looking in this row here, so the 7, and we have two results which are 70, We then have 71, 75, and these are all passes. So the results that we are looking at are here, the two 70s, and then also all of the results in the 60s. So we can count these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 results, which are less than 71. So 6 out of the 20 students failed. So if I write down that 6 students failed this French test, I can then use this information to show that 6 out of 20 students failed. So that probability of the student having failed when one's selected at random is 6 out of 20. And if I simplify this down, this is not going to be equivalent to 1 over 4. So 6 over 20 is not equal to 1 over 4. And comparing these two values is what's going to gain me the mark here. So I'd gain the first mark for identifying that 6 of the students have failed, and then I'd gain the second mark for comparing this with 1/4 and showing that they're not equal. So we know that Omar is wrong and the probability is not 1/4.